Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to Reflecting on Prayer Recollection. This is my second vlog on June 17th of 20. I'm trying to get caught up here so I can go on to my next prayer recollection. So today we're looking at John 4:39 through 42. Ready to dive in? Oh, by the way, in case you didn't just listen to the last one, missing Anna today. I'm on my Wednesday afternoon time of solitude, so she's not with me. But love to you, Anna. Can't wait to do prayer recollection with you tonight. All right, here we go. Many Samaritans from the village believed in Jesus because the woman had said, "He told me everything I ever did." I think this is really beautiful because it tells us that we can believe. It tells me, one of the things it tells me is that I can believe in Jesus just from hearing what other people's experiences are and reading in the Bible and hearing other people's witnesses. When she says, "He told me everything I ever did," it's so beautiful that he used her broken life to get her attention and to get everyone else's attention. I mean, I think that was part of the fact that because her life was so broken, when he told her everything she did, that was kind of like, really attention getting, and he used that pain in that was cool how he did that. When they came out to see him, they begged him to stay in their village. I love this, and as you're reflecting on it, I encourage you to imagine yourself begging him. Imagine them begging him. Imagine what that must have been like. Picture that in your mind, begging him to stay in their village. And then picture yourself begging him and beg him to stay in your heart. That's the coolest thing about Jesus and about the emphasis of prayer recollection is that we bring our awareness to him in our heart, and that he can stay here. He's not just a visitor begging to be stayed. We're begging him to stay as resident of our heart, and imagining the life change. And I don't just mean that in like the cliche religious way. I mean that like, imagine if Jesus really lives in our hearts, you guys. So, anyways, begged him to stay in their village. So he stayed for 2 days, and I think those days must have been like heaven for them. They must have been like, you think about, I especially in quarantine, we're still kind of in quarantine time here. I think about vacations, I think about feasts, I think about parties. My oldest daughter's turning 18, so we're going to have a big birthday party for her in a couple days, but not very big because we're in quarantine, so it's going to be our family. Maybe my sister will be wearing masks. But you think about all these things, we haven't been on vacation for a while. We're not doing our normal summer trip to my parents' farm just because it's not a good time for travel, but we kind of long for these things. We long for the big parties and the vacations, and my foodies club that I'm a part of hasn't met in months, and I'm missing them and the good food and feasts that we always have. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till we can get back together. Imagine those things, though. Imagine the things that you long for in your life. I don't think anything would have been like these 2 days with Jesus for these people. These forsaken people. I just love thinking about that. I think that is the coolest thing. So it says, so he stayed for 2 days, long enough for many more to hear his message and believe. They said to the woman, "Now we believe not just because of what you told us, but because we have heard him for ourselves. Now we know that he is indeed the Savior of the world." So this is such a beautiful transition. Now we go from believing not just based on what we've heard or read, but believing because we've heard him ourselves. And I think that happens through the Bible, but I think that also happens, I shouldn't say but also, it happens through our engagement with the Bible, through this type of, the prayer of recollection, or the type of meditation that lets him really speak to you, not just the knowledge. So many decades I've really engaged the Bible from a knowledge level. But when you hear him for yourself and you don't just read about him, that's when you really can start to believe, because the belief goes from just being something you think about to something that utterly changes your deepest motivations. And now we can know that he is indeed the Savior of the world. He is the Savior of our world. This Jesus within you, when I say Savior of the world, that's a big term, but when you take it, it's a big concept. The whole world and Savior are both enormous, really hard to grasp, and really magnificent. But there's also a really magnificent level of this that's much smaller and much closer to home. There's the level of the Savior of your world. I think about my own world. For me, a big one in that is trusting that he really is the Savior, really is my Savior, that I don't have to control my world. I don't have to live with this edge of pushing to control, that I can release that and just have a total carefree joy. That's what I've really been convicted about for a long time, but even more recently in the past couple days again. And for that, we praise you, Jesus.